at it again. Day 16, about 1 mile into my walk already. And can you guess where I am? If you haven't guessed, then check out the text below. No, I'm not going to do that. Those things are corny. But I'm at Wickham Park again. There's actually a ton of people here today walking, not these trails, but they're walking the big circle where the concrete is that takes you around the park. Runners, walkers, anybody, you name it. And these beautiful trails are back here. And I don't quite understand why nobody is hiking them. I really enjoy them, so I'm okay with there not being a ton of people out here. But it kind of be nice if every so often you saw a person. But most of the time, there's rarely anybody out here. We've seen like a couple of people with dogs and stuff, but nobody, not too many people. I've seen like a bike rider once or twice. Usually see lots of rabbits about this time of day. It's about 6 o'clock and I'm hiking away. I need 3 more miles, hopefully, and then I'll be done for the day. Unless I decide to kick it a little bit further, then I'll go a little bit further. But for the most part, I'm sticking with about 4 miles. That seems to do pretty good with my feet, and I'm not too sore the next day. But I am a little bit sore the next day. So I've been trying to figure out new content to put in my videos, so that way I don't just say the same thing over and over again, because it seems like that's what I've been doing. So yesterday I was talking about favorite musical theater, favorite movies, and I don't know, maybe today I'll tell a little bit about me and who I am, a little bit about my family, that type of stuff, for those of you who don't know me more personally. So this is a way for us to connect. So I was born and raised here in Brevard County, actually in this town. Grew up in Palm Bay, and lived in the same house pretty much my entire life until I graduated high school. And then I kind of lost my mind, but we'll get to that another day. But either way, my mom and dad stayed together my entire life till about high school, and then things didn't work out for them and they decided to go their separate ways. But for the most part, had a really good childhood. My parents always worked really hard to make sure my brother and I had everything that we needed. They rarely ever, let it show when they were, hurting for things. When we were growing up, we always had food on the table. We always had, whatever we wanted. We pretty much got as long as it was within reason. My dad worked for Harris Corporation, and I'm gonna stop for a minute because there's a bunny. Sorry, little guy. And off he goes. I love seeing rabbits out here. But my dad worked for Harris Corporation his pretty much entire working life. I mean, when I was little, he was in the Army and the National Guard. He fought in, Operation Desert Storm. He joined the military right after the Vietnam War. So he wasn't in the Vietnam War, thank God. But he kind of had to deal with the end of it, just like the results, and then going into all the conflicts that we had with oil in Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Iran way back in the day. So he was in those wars, came back home, served in the National Guard. He was in the reserves, so he had to go away every now and again, and once a month they went and trained, and he went away. that was pretty much throughout my majority of my elementary years into middle school. And then middle school, he worked at Harris. He did a lot of stuff at Harris. I don't even know all the things he did. He was a handyman. He liked to fix things. He did lots and lots of things. Among some of my favorite memories of him, he bought like a 79 Volkswagen bus, painted it hot red, like fire engine red and white, and redid the interior all by himself. Fixed the engine. That thing ran for a really long time until one day me and my mom were driving in it and we had to say a prayer to get over the Melbourne Causeway. So that thing was running to the ground.
Time 22 minutes
sold.
20 seconds. Distance 1 mile. Pace 22 minutes 19 seconds per mile. Split pace 22 minutes 19 seconds per mile.
You can hear my time. So I'm making pretty good time today for miles. Usually my first mile is always a little bit slower, and then I pick up the pace through the next couple of miles. So either way, my dad was a handyman. He liked to work in the garage, and he loved to fish, an avid fisherman. And in my younger years, he used to go hunting, but that kind of wore off in our later years. My brother takes after him a lot. Like I was saying, I accidentally hit stop on my video. My brother takes after him a lot. My brother got the hunting and fishing genes, and I got impatience when it comes to fishing. I just think it's kind of boring unless you're catching the fish. But of course, you got to be patient to wait for the fish. So on occasion, fishing can be fun. My mom homeschooled my brother and I for most of my majority of my elementary career, from 3rd grade to 7.5 grade. And my brother was homeschooled from 6th grade to 9th grade. So she was a stay-at-home mom for as long as I can remember. And then she went to work when I was in about 7th grade, and she started working at Harris. She kind of started off in the assembly area and assembled different things that they do at Harris, and she's kind of worked her way up to the position she holds now. And she still works for Harris, so pretty cool. My mom currently has a fiance. His name's Steve, and he's an engineer at Harris. So it's a nice small world when it comes to people in this town. He's a great guy. He does lots of things on the side too. He's a handyman. He loves animals, well, dogs specifically. And so he's taken in a lot of rescues, and they've kind of done that together. They love to go cruising together on cruise ships. It's kind of their thing. And then back to me. So grew up here, homeschooled, middle school, high school, college, went to UCF, and that is where I met Andrew. Not at UCF though. I just met him online, actually. We actually met on the Plenty of Fish website, which actually is a really, really bad website to go onto now. But I kind of saw his portfolio. I'm thinking of my 3rd grade stuff. Saw his profile picture. Felt a little bad for him. Sent him a message, and that was all she wrote. Wouldn't change a thing. He's a great guy. Super, super funny. He is probably the opposite of what I am, just so you can see what I'm walking on. But it works out great for us. We have an awesome relationship. God knew what I needed, and he's exactly what I needed, because he balances me out. He sees things in different perspectives than I do and can put me in my place without, completely offending me. But he's a great guy. He's an avid drummer. He loves to go out and hang out with his buddies, and lately we've been doing stuff with the church, so he's been hanging out with our church friends and just kind of getting to know people and building relationships. That's where he thrives the most. He's most definitely an extrovert, and I'm 100% an introvert. So he thrives in situations where there's many, many people, where I totally am like, no, I'm going to stay home instead of going out and hanging out with people. But coming out of my shell a little bit, I can deal with people and crowds for a little bit of time, and for the most part do okay getting along. But if you want to know the truth, most of the time I'd rather be out here in nature by myself, just walking and being with my own thoughts, as crazy as that seems. Some personal struggles, because everybody has those. My biggest struggle has been my weight my entire life. I was constantly called the Titanic and the fat one, or a whale, or things of that nature when I was growing up. I was always the biggest kid, kindergarten, tallest kid, first, second grade, tallest kid. Got the tall genes from my mom's side of the family. And the height I like, but the weight's gotta go. So, dealt with that my entire life, and kind of, struggle all the time with accepting myself for who I am right now, instead of wanting to be something that I'm not. So, kind of working through those things. On a daily basis, I 100% struggle with anxiety. It's something recently that I actually went out and sought some medical attention for. It just got to the point where I couldn't control my emotions, or couldn't control outbursts that I had towards people that didn't deserve me to, yell out at them. And so I sought some medical help, and they put me on some medication, and I haven't looked back, because honestly, it has 100% changed my life. And it's one of those things that's super taboo. Like, nobody talks about mental health medication. Nobody talks about, going and seeing a psychologist or any of that stuff, because it's so stinking taboo. And they think that, you gotta have it all together and in this perfect little box, and, you can't be broken. But in reality, I think we're all just broken people trying to figure out how to get through this life, trying to be the best that we can. It has, the way that we get through things, all depends on, perspective, and some people have it easier than others, and it's just, in some senses, the hands that we've been dealt. I don't think that it has anything to do with, like, somebody upstairs saying, oh, you're strong enough to handle this. No, I just think that we were born into a broken world, and because of the brokenness, things happen, basically. But like I was saying, I'm really super thrilled that I, took a step towards seeking medical help when it came to my anxiety, because it has completely changed who I am, in such a good way. I'm able to think clearly. I'm able to focus when things get to be too much. I'm able to just kind of take a breath and not freak out. It gives me the ability to gather my thoughts. And so for that, I am very thankful. So I think that's a pretty good story for today. I don't want to make this too long of a video. I know I'll have a few more time lapses to throw in here, and I don't want to keep people, too long. I'm trying not to make them any longer than 15 minutes. So I think for today, I'm going to call it a day and kind of get a little bit of who I am as a person, some of the things I struggle with. Maybe you can connect with me in that you struggle with those same things. And together we can make each other better and build each other up. So with all that being said, I'm going to sign off for today. I'm going to enjoy the sights and sounds out here and just kind of thank God for giving me the life that I have, and just be thankful and reflective of being able to even walk down this path. Pretty cool. So anyway, that's all for now. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.